What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and I thought we would jump in and take a look at the Fusion Champions since the Fusion is live today. Now, Plarium did have some trouble this morning getting the patch through and getting everything going with the events and the Dragon Tournament loaded, so we did get some nice compensation today. But the Fusion is live in your portal. You can find it under Fusions for Helicath. You can see here we have 2 weeks, 3 days, and 1 hour remaining as of the time of this video. Now, they did kind of an interesting format this time. It is 16 of the same rare and the same epic 4 times. Now, we did see them do this the last time. They had 4 of the same epic with Filja, but then they did have 4 different rares that you had to feed into each one. So on one hand, this is a little bit easier because if you knew this ahead of time, you could prepare and grind out your spirit potions and be ready for it. And the spirit keeps still open today for a little bit longer. So that's basically what I would have been doing all day waiting for the Dragon Tourney. I was just farming spirit potions. So that was very helpful in being able to do that. But kind of interesting this time. We're going to take a look at each one of these champions and determine if either of them are worth getting a copy of. Because one of the things I usually like to say, we're on the free-to-play account here. I'm going to be going as hard as I can at this fusion. This is the first traditional fusion we're really going to try to get because we do need help in Demon Spawn on this account, and he's just a really good champion overall. But one of the things I always like to tell people, if you're a new account, if you're a new player, low spend, free-to-play, maybe you're not wanting to spend a lot of resources, there's times where you can at least go after 1 or 2 of the epics in one of these, but this time we don't really have that option. Before there's been some really good epics like Demitha or Ragnar Goldgleam that you could grab from the Fusion if you couldn't get the Legendary. But in this case, we have a much different approach, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and why it's a little bit disappointing this time. But let's just jump back out here, and let's go into the Champion Index. First of all, though, I'm going to throw up the Fusion schedule so you guys can check it out. This is available on Plarium's Discord. Under their announcements, you can find this, or you can just pause the video if you want to check it out and see what you're going to need to do. Now you'll see there's only going to be 1 event to pick up an extra copy of the epic, and of course it's going to be the Summon Rush, so if you don't have a lot of shards, you may be kind of screwed on that one, but hopefully it won't be too bad and won't be put too far up into the Summon Rush area there. Let's jump into the index, and we will go through and talk about these guys. Now, obviously, this is a must-go for Fusion. I think I don't often, tell you guys whether or not I think you should or should not go for Fusion. I think it's always up to you as a personal choice on your account. You know your account best. You know the resources you have and whether or not you'll be able to pursue it. I think this guy, though, is definitely a must-get if you can. He's one of the best Fusions we've had. I'd put him up there close with Brogni with what he brings to the table with the shields. The block damage, he's got a lot of interesting things going on with his kit. I think he's going to be really useful in Faction Wars and Clan Boss, and I'm sure there's some people that are going to figure out a way to use him in the arena as well with a tankier defense team possibly. So I think this guy is really, really good, and I would definitely go after him if you can. Like I said, even on the free-to-play account where we've never really been able to do the traditional fusions, the account's a bit more developed at this point in time. We're going to go as hard as we can at getting this guy. So I don't think there's much else to say there. Great legendary Fusion Champion, Spirit Affinity, Defense Champ. Defense Champs are usually pretty easy to build too. Nice base defense there at 1443. So I think this guy is going to be pretty solid, and would suggest going for him if you can. But let's talk about the other 2 champions, because this is what I usually would like on my free-to-play account when these things come around. We have rares usually, we have epics that we can try to get if we can't get the Fusion, but in this case, I don't really think they're worth going for, unfortunately, this time around. We have this rare Llama Bird, and everybody was getting super hyped because they're like, oh, there's going to be a new Skinwalker finally. But, I mean, it's a rare, and quite honestly, his kit is very underwhelming. I mean, 5% turn meter is really nothing. 15% continuous heal, that's okay. And then you can heal with a Revive on Death. So there's some revival help there for Faction Wars. He's got a speed aura of 10%, which is kind of useless. Yeah, there's really just not much here. I don't think this kit is all that special. I don't think this guy is really worth developing. Even if you're trying to get Faction Wars done on this account, you've got much better options for rares in this faction. You've got Greybeard, Fleshmonger, Gnarlhorn, Grappler. Even Panthera and Chandler can do some work. You've got Satyr, who's an uncommon that's really good in Faction War 21, who I would go after and develop before I would work on this guy. So We got to get 16 of these guys, and unfortunately, he's not really a rare I think is worth paying much attention to. So not even something I would develop here on the free-to-play account. Now, then it gets a little bit worse, in my opinion here. We do go into Shadowkin, and that's where the other champion is, this Epic Kinagashi. Now, a lot of people are making a big deal about this because she does have a revive, and it's basically the only Shadowkin that has a specific revive ability. You do have Sachi, but hers is kind of contingent on her getting a kill before she'll revive somebody. But it's a 4-turn revive, and it's only a single target revive, which is kind of rough, because if you look at somebody, I'm trying to think of who I want to look at here. Let's go to Skinwalkers actually, and we've got Ophories, who's got a revive as well. 2 random allies with 50% HP and fills the turn meter and gives them the strengthen buff. So that's a little bit longer cooldown at 5, but it's a much better revive for a similar epic champion. And then if we go into Demon Spawn, you've got another one here who's actually helped me out quite a bit. Endure, who's 2 random allies with 50% HP, then fills their turn meter by 50%, also on a 4-turn cooldown. So again, 2 random ally revive is much better than having just 1. I'm not sure why they made that 1. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe this was supposed to be 2. I think if this was a revive at least 2 allies, this would actually be a pretty good ability. But on a 4-turn cooldown, only getting the 1 revive off, not really something I'm super excited about. You've got 2-hitter on the A1, decreased turn meter by 10%. I mean, this, I guess, could work for Fire Knight. And then you got a single ally attack on 1 enemy. Does fill their turn meter a little bit on a 3-turn cooldown. So this kit for an epic champion is just incredibly underwhelming. If you really need desperate help in Shadowkin Faction Wars, this might be something you want an extra copy of. I really don't see where else you would get much use out of this champion, unfortunately. Like I said, just a very underwhelming kit for an epic. And like I said, it's disappointing because in a lot of these cases, if I couldn't get the legendary, I would at least want to get the epic champion. But like I know on my main account, I beat Shadowkin Faction Wars without a reviver. I didn't even have Sachi, so I just beat it basically using, you know, everybody doesn't want to hear you say Ninja, but, you know, I have Ninja there. I beat it with Ninja. I think Taragi was in that team. Beer and Giri. It's just having a lot of good tanky champions that were pretty fast and could do some crowd control. In most cases, revivers, in my opinion, are a bit overrated in Faction Wars. They can be super helpful, especially if you don't have a developed account. I've made good use of them here on the free-to-play account to help me 3-star a lot of the factions. But at the end of the day, if you have good gear, if you have good crowd control and good ally protection and other things built into your champions, you can get through it without having a revive champion. I beat most of Faction Wars by main account without even having revivers. Like I beat Skinwalkers before they added Ophories and things like that. So it's certainly possible to do it without. That's really the only reason I would see to keep a copy of this epic champion, is if you simply are desperate in Faction Wars with Shadowkin. And even in that sense, I wouldn't take her much past 5 stars. I think this is someone you would leave at 50 if you're going to try to use her in Faction Wars and just give her some immortal gear and some speed gear to make her fast enough to cycle through that revive. But again, you know, 4-turn cooldown, and you've got to put what, 6, 7, 8. Was it, yeah, 8 books? 8 books, I guess, is not bad, but this is not someone I'd invest books in. This kit is just very underwhelming for an epic. So it's unfortunate that they decided to go this route this time and only give us the 4 same epics. I think Filja was the epic last time. It was the 4 of the same, and she was... I haven't really seen too many people talking very good about her. I don't know if she's good or not. I haven't had a chance to really use her on my main account. So kind of underwhelming on the epics the last couple of traditional fusions that they've done. And this time the rare, and like I said, is kind of a complete miss. So there's really no rare gems you can find in this one either, where you've had, you know, champions like Abyssal before where you were able to at least get some value out of it. But I think in this one, you just got to go hard, go all in on trying to get Helicath. I think he's the only one here that's really worth anything. He's going to be a pretty solid legendary, I think, but I think the other 2 champs, you can basically kind of just, you know, gloss over. Like I said, unless you really need that reviver for Shadowkin, and again, it's only a single revive, which you have comparable epic champions that can revive 2 allies, which kind of makes that very disappointing. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about the new fusion champions, if you're going to be going hard for Helicath, or if you actually are going to try to pick up this epic for the Shadowkin faction. Overall, love to hear your all's thoughts on these new champions they have put into the game. As always, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave them down below, and I will do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.